The single most difficult thing about inner child healing is the realization or the awareness that indeed we must look to our timeline to go and heal certain paradigms or certain patterns. And the one thing that stands in our way of inner child healing is the stigma attached to going through the anger, going through the pain with the perpetrators, when the perpetrators might be those that we love the most and those that you would dare not question, aka your parents or your caregivers. As soon as you realize inner child healing is not about the perpetrators, or in inverted commas, so not about those that did whatever it is that we thought they did and therefore became fragmented, but it is about us. It is about recognizing that we might hold on to belief systems that don't work. So inner child healing ranges right from belief systems, outdated paradigms of consciousness, ancestral karma, anything that we have inherited, right to the other end of the inner child healing spectrum, which is when you have been a victim of direct abuse, whether that is being hit, whether that is psychological abuse, emotional abuse, mental abuse, and lastly, whether that is sexual abuse. All of these will have an impact on our brain. So when we inherit ancestral beliefs and we inherit things like beliefs around money, beliefs around relationships, fears, all of that, as well as things that we're aware of. You see, if you were hit as a child, it's something that you're aware of and something that you'll have to work through the impact of that and how it affected you. Similarly, if you were sexually abused as a child, which we will also talk about in depth, is we will understand how that has impacted the child's brain. There are amazing studies out there, including the very recent ACE study, about how children are affected even if you don't hit them. Psychological abuse, silent treatment, abandonment. So if you also have a give and take with your children and say, well, if you do this, this will happen, i.e. you're going to admonish or punish your child, how the child deals with this all depends on how they are developed at every stage. So everything has got to be age appropriate. Now, going back to inner child healing, the most difficult part about inner child healing is to identify that indeed there is healing that needs to take place. And how we do that is to work from that paradigm. Hey, look, I've been looking at my belief systems, I've been looking at everything, I've tried everything, it's not working. So how about going back into and creating a timeline from before you were conceived to when you were conceived, and try to figure out what the systems in place were, what were the paradigms that you were taking on. So what were the belief systems, what were the conditions of the household that you were in, what were the rules of the house, what were the values of that household, and see how much of that has played a role in how you are today and what your beliefs are today, and what in that you would like to change. So how to change them is to locate the source, and then to when change is very easy for a child at a certain time, because they are receiving these instructions from a figure of authority, for somebody they completely trust, and there's a huge bond, and that bond comes with a lot of neurotransmitters, and those help in keeping this paradigm in place. And that's why it's so difficult to get rid of things like if your parents were overcritical, if they were strict. It's so difficult to get that out of you, because you will be strict with yourself too. You will have a very high inner critic, because that is where it's formed, right? And why it sticks is because of the neurotransmitters. Why it sticks is because of that emotion and everything else that comes with just receiving that instruction. And for us to remove it, and to give us ourselves a new instruction, it has to come up with this feeling which we're aware of, and it's something that we speak about very openly now. So going back to this is, regardless to whether you have had any form of abuse that you're aware of as a child, it is almost mandatory now for anyone seeking any form of emotional and cognitive return to wholeness that you go back into the timeline and you go back to when paradigms were set for you. So again, I repeat that please do not disregard inner child healing as a concept that is only for those children, adults that went through any form of abuse, because it's not. Any belief system will come from there that we're aware of, and then we can work out the root to a deeper level in another video. Sending you a lot of love and all the best with wherever you are on your journey. You are where you need to be right now, and even when you are watching this remember, video has chosen you. You've not chosen it, because whatever you're getting out of this right now is what you need right now at this stage in your life. Sending you lots of love.